Knocking off the king is no small feat. And that is exactly what Near Protocol has done. So today we're going to do is take a look at some on-chain metrics. We're going to take a look at unique active wallets, daily transactions, and of course the fees to see how a crypto that is barely in the top 40 was able to knock off the two big players in the game, Bitcoin and Ethereum. But before we jump into that, I want to just share with you a little quick story about soccer star Ronaldo. Looks like he's going to be in court facing a lawsuit over Binance promotion. And the reason for this is twofold. The first reason is because some people like to sue people. That's just how it is, quick money. And the second reason is people don't take responsibility for their actions. So on this channel, I can't give you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not even your dad. So you can do whatever you want to do, but just remember, take responsibility, do as much research as you possibly can, because this is your hard-earned money. So having said all that, Near. This was a pretty great piece, and this is put together by The Defiant. And I'll link this in the description so you can read the whole story. But before we move on, I want you to tell you that I am super biased on this project because I own this project. But I'm going to be comparing this against some of my other bags, which would be Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and Cardano. So if you think that Rob is biased, yes, Rob is biased because he owns Near. And I don't talk about things unless I actually own them on this channel. But I'm comparing them against all my different bags that are out there. So let's jump into it. Near Protocol overtakes Ethereum and Bitcoin in key activity metrics. So here's what we have. Activity on Near is spikes in September, overtaking Bitcoin and Ethereum, both in terms of daily transactions and active addresses. Near has, this is pretty big, 838,000 daily active addresses. Daily. The most out of any major layer one chains after Tron, tying with BNB chain, Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum coming next. Near's daily transactions of 1.7 million beat out Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Avalanche, while still trailing Solana, Tron, and BNB chain. That's for daily transactions. Some people ask me this, like, well, how can Near beat out Bitcoin? That's the biggest big daddy of them all, right? But remember, this is daily active addresses. Me personally, I don't use my Bitcoin address except for maybe once a week when I transfer all the different Bitcoin daily cost average that I've done on Coinbase and transfer them into my Bitcoin wallet. A lot of people aren't using their Bitcoin wallet to buy coffee. A lot of people are storing their Bitcoin in their wallet and not touching it. So as far as active addresses, I can definitely see where this is coming from. And then to move forward, we'll talk about some more chain metrics. So why is this happening? Well, it comes down to games and payments. These are fueling the growth with Kakao, I think that's how you say it, a shopping app, which is more prevalent in Southeast Asia. It leads the way in terms of active wallets, and also fitness app Sweatcoin, one of my other favorite ones, drove the spike in September when it launched in the US. And today, Sweatcoin reached 1 million on-chain active users for the first time. I knew it would be a big project. It just all depends on what's going to happen with the actual token price. And we'll see how that works out. Near's native token is trailing, though, behind Bitcoin and ETH as far as price. Near has only gained 42% year to date, compared with ETH's 73% increase and Bitcoin's 130% rally. Again, this is all speculation. So if we're just going by daily active addresses, it wouldn't really be close, but that's not what people invest into. So to get into KK and Sweat, Kai Ching is the native stablecoin of the Kakao shopping apps. Kakao recently partnered with shopping behemoth Cosmos AI, which uses artificial intelligence to power better shopping experiences. I've never personally used it, but I hear it's very good. And I thought this was interesting about Web3 overtaking the old garden Web2. The integration with Cosmos was announced in April, which meant that Cosmos AI ditched Stripe. And they chose to go with KK. And if you don't know what Stripe is a payment processor. I personally use this for a couple of my different websites. And the fees are pretty, it's 2.99% plus 30 cents per every single transaction. So with Stripe, and of course it's different across the world, with Stripe, they said, you know what, you're too expensive and maybe you're too slow. We're going to go with the other one. I think that's what you're going to see happen more and more and more as we see blockchain technology and crypto and digital assets take over. And then to finish up, Kai and Sweat currently comprise roughly 90% of all transactions on Near. Again, two enormous apps, and that's what's driving the daily active users. So there is that piece. And then this is a great piece, but you always want to, back it up and see, is that true? And take a look at some different metrics. There's a couple different websites. I actually posted this today, and I looked at DApp Radar, and I said, I'll be damned. It looks like as far as like daily unique active wallets, it's true. Kai Ching coming in number 1. Atomic Acids, I've never heard about this one. Atomic Acids. Now number 2, Pixels, a huge game from the creators of Axie, now in Ronin, is number 3. And then Sweat Economy, Gamify, Rarible. And if we go over to DApp Radar, you can do this yourself. You can go to dappradar.com, links in the description. And if you click on unique active wallets, and the first one is just an ad. There's always an ad there. It's quite annoying, actually. And if you click on this, you can go to the highest to the lowest, and we can separate them. And there they are. Kai Ching, 645,000. That's a lot. Unique active wallets. Atomic Acids, 189. And Pixels, number 3, 115,000. That's daily. And Sweat Economy, 114,000. That's daily. So that's pretty amazing. And of course, with I've been talking about this quite a bit last, 10, 12 months or so, about how I believe that gaming is going to be the next narrative as far as like the next bull run. But of course, I have to give props to Kagi. He's the one that told me all about Pixels, and he's the one that's really been talking about this one up, and he's been right so far about this one. You can follow Kagi, link in the description. But again, if we want to take a look at the daily transactions, like we just took a look at Near. This is a very new chain, and if you are under the belief that in the next bull run, the new chains will outplay the old chains, then this may be something to actually look into. Now, Near was around in 2021, but it really wasn't doing too much. This is in April, and you can see that the daily transaction, the total transaction count was only 11,000 total transactions. Wasn't even ranked that high. And of course, as we moved into the bear market, then all of a sudden they built in the bear so they can crush it in the bull. And now you see these big spikes. This might have been Sweat when they actually launched it over in the US. I'm not for sure. But you can see over here that daily transaction as of, looks like Monday, November 27th, even though today's Wednesday, you're looking at 1.8 million, 1,848,000. So we'll just round up, roughly around 2 million. So how does that compare to, say, like a Polygon? Well, Polygon was actually sitting at around, as far as like daily transactions, around 2 million, 2.5 million, somewhere around there. We can see this just kind of coming across here. You got 2.1 million, 2.3, 2.2, and all of a sudden there's this huge spike. So first of all, that spike was not because people started to use it like crazy. I mean, it kind of was. What it really came down to was there was a minting of ordinals, like tokens, which is you can do an inscription service, NFTs and stuff like that, just like what they have with Bitcoin, which causes a big surge in Polygon transaction fees. Now it's come down, after the big hype. But what I found interesting about this is that with Near protocol, Near is a layer 1 solution, and they're doing all these transactions. They don't need a layer 2. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And then also, as far as like with ordinals today, Near is partnering up, and it looks like they're actually going for ordinals first inscription standard launches on Near that today. So maybe we'll see a jump in transactions per day, and we'll see how it goes. But what about Solana? Because that would be the big question. Well, Solana, and this, you can find this. It's kind of difficult sometimes to find the Solana metrics unless you know how to work. This is solscan.io, links in the description. And we're going to see here that, look over here, successful vote versus non-vote transactions. Look at these transactions on November 28th. Vote transactions, 297,885,175. That's a lot of transactions, but those are just votes. Those are just different node operators voting and doing different things, but not like the non-vote transactions, which are just like the transactions that you would do for like Orca, or like Jupiter, like their different dexes, or like transferring Solana and doing those things. That will be the non-vote transaction. But look at those numbers. That's pretty amazing. You've got transactions, again, you can mirror it over here in this teal color. Transactions are 20 million per day, 20,645,000. And remember, Solana is also a layer 1 solution, does not need a layer 2. The only thing with Solana, and I know this is one of the big knocks, is that you see up here, and you can find this on SolScan as well, this purple bar says success rate. Pretty successful, 99.9999, whatever else it is, over the last 7 days. But what if you back that up to like 3 months? Something's going on here. And again, I own Solana. I own a lot of Solana. So it would not behoove me to point this stuff out, but it's the truth. Successful rate seems to be in flux. And there was a big knock against Solana as far as them going down last year and being able to start up. And then people said it was a very not decentralized. We can see the success rate, 90%, 89%. This wasn't last year. This was September 18th, 2023. And we keep going down. Now let's take a look at, let's max out at all time. You can see there has been some problems. However, things look to be doing pretty well. And it's up to you to decide if that's something for you to do. I just give you the information. This is right from SoulScan. You can do whatever you want with it. And then lastly, what about Cardano? Cardano, also one of my big picks. And you can see that transactions here, not so much. Transactions we can see like on November 23rd, 50,000, 46,000, 50,000. Now there was a little uptick in the last 2 weeks, 78,000. But you have to remember, there's a little bit difference in how you do with transactions because they have the unspent transaction output, EUTXO, kind of like what Bitcoin uses. So within each transaction that's done, there are other transactions that are being done. You can see this right here with EUTXO.org. And so this would be one transactions, but you have NFTs in there, you have Cardano, you have a bunch of different things. And if you toggle, what's also interesting about this, if you toggle the show spend, unspend UTXOs, you can see what are intra-wallet transactions or unspent or transfer to foreign addresses. You can see right this one, not that many. So again, don't shoot the messenger. This is just the information that you have, and this is right from EUTXO.org. The last thing you always want to look at, and I have always said this before, is transactions are cute. That's adorable, but who's paying for this? So there's a great website called cryptofees.info. And of course, Ethereum has been on top for quite some time. Bitcoin was actually on top a couple of weeks ago with the ordinals. It was crushing Ethereum in the transaction fees. And you might have seen that as you were transferring Bitcoin last week or so. You're like, what the heck happened? Ordinals happened. But as far as like average fees, you can see that, Ethereum and Bitcoin are pretty high. So even though they don't have the daily transaction amount, they still charge. And that's how it is. But if we come down here, Polygon, as far as like a 1 day, 36,000. So they're getting paid. Dogecoin, Cardano is 7,000. And again, not that many transactions, I gotta be honest with you. And then Near, we just took a look at all the transactions. It's only $4,300. So what does that tell you? It tells you that even though Polygon has a little bit more as far as daily transactions, Near has roughly about the same, maybe like, between 1.8 million to 2.3 million. But you can see the price difference and how much it is. That's quite a bit. And then if you take a look at that, we can verify that also on nearblocks.io as far as transaction fee charts. For the daily, you got 37.85. So yeah, somewhere around there I can see. But what about Solana? What about the daily fees? And you can find this again on SoulScan. You can click on fees. Right here, you've got total fees in green, total administration fees, Sol, or total additional fees in this gold color. We're looking at the total fees right here for November 26th, which is the last one they have. Over here, it just looks like it's not complete. Daily transactions or daily fees for November 26th was 673 Solana. Solana today is roughly $60. So if you take $60 times 673 total fees, you're looking at roughly around $40,000 for the fees. And again, they have roughly 20 million different transactions. So even though Near is less than that, they're kind of in there or less than what actually Solana actually has. So that's all the data. And I got to tell you, it looks pretty positive for a couple of chains. I'll let you decide which ones those are. But that will conclude that piece. And lastly, I just want to finish up with the macro, because this is all well and good when we talk about on-chain metrics and what's going on, but you have to be aware of what's going on in your surroundings. And that would be these macro events. So I don't know where things are going. I don't know if there's a recession. I don't know if it's going to be another black swan event. I have no idea. But one thing I can count on is the conflicting information. And you're going to be inundated with so much information over the next couple of months. Is there a recession? Is there not? Is there going to be an ETF? Is there not? Is Gary going to do what he says he's going to do? Are we going to branch out into the rest of the world? Whatever else it is. And one of these things is going to be big as far as the macro. But I just want to remind you that for the things that come out, look on the other side. Because I'm going to show you an example. This is Business Insider. And they state that the stock market could plunge as much as 27% when the economy finally tips into recession, investment research firm says. And in the same website, on the same day, they had stock market bulls are growing bolder. Now Deutsche Bank predicts the S&P 500 will hit a record 5,100 in 2024. So just real quick, the reason for this, they say it's because the U.S. economy remains on track to enter a recession as high interest rates take a toll, and there's a bunch of different information about why they think it is. That's for the negative. And then for the positive, over here they say, well, strategists at the bank of Deutsche Bank said Monday they expect the benchmark share index to trade at 5,100. And Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, RBC Capital, and BMO Capital, other well-known Wall Street firms, also predict an upbeat 2024 for U.S. equities. And the reason for that, Deutsche Bank's bullish outlook is based off a view that the U.S. is nearing a soft landing economic scenario with inflation cooling while quarterly GDP growth remains strong. And to piggyback off that, if you didn't know, looks like the GDP was actually revised a little bit higher just in time for a presidential election. The U.S. economy grew at a 5.2% annual rate in the third quarter. The figure was revised up from an initial estimate of 4.9%. So maybe there was a soft landing, at least in what the actual data shows. And to prove my point even more so, if you go to Dave Lin's channel, who used to be from Kitco News, started his own channel, and just go down there and just watch any of his videos, just pick two. You'll see all the experts. One will say it's going to be a crash, and one will say, no, it's going to be awesome. It's going to explode. It's going to be fantastic. No, it's a bear rally. No, it's going to be great. No, it's going to. So again, these are the experts that you're listening to. And some days I just want to tell you, sometimes it's just best to tune out. And that is it for today. Tomorrow, if you're so interested, we'll be doing NFA Live over on Ben's channel. I know the Cryptoverse. I'll be joined by Guy, as always, Coin Bureau. And maybe we'll make some sense of the things that are going on. But that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. There's so much information going to come out. I don't care who you subscribe to, just get your information from somebody, keep abreast of the situation, and move forward. But that's it for today. Thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.